what do you think is kind of going to happen to kind of ensure Alabama getting the playoffs? People are talking about SMU over Clemson to really solidify Alabama. Give us your
Clemson not knocking off SMU could get weird. I don't know. Me and Justin to discuss this offline. I don't know what UNLV beating Boise State does. Does UNLV automatically get a berth at that point? Does that knock Boise State out? Do both drop out? And does that put someone like Miami or Ole Miss in? And then you get a real debate on resumes, because I'm with Ty. I've looked at it extensively. I've looked at it from the Ole Miss angle. Like, well, Ole Miss had bigger wins against Georgia and South Carolina. Yeah, but Alabama, if you look at resumes with Alabama and the three teams that were up for debate, which was South Carolina, Miami, and Ole Miss, every one of them had a bigger question mark than what Alabama or Bama could trump it in some way or another. So you look at Ole Miss. Ole Miss had 2 quality wins, huge wins. Ole Miss's margin of losses were less than anybody else's, but they lost to Kentucky. It always goes back to Kentucky. You lost to one of the worst teams in the SEC. They only won one SEC game, and that was at home. And they didn't have the 3 quality wins that Bama did. So at the end of the day, Bama had more quality wins. You look at Bama versus Miami. Miami's quality wins are Florida and Pitt. That's it. So, I mean, come on. Let's be real. We got to start looking at strength of schedule in some way when it comes to crunching numbers like that. And South Carolina lost to the 2 other teams in the debate. So I'm sorry, South Carolina. Getting hot's cute, but you still don't have the quality wins that Bama and Ole Miss possess. Absolutely, it had to be Bama. And I was claiming Bama was going to get the nod from the money standpoint. This is all about money, and Bama's money. Bama's the most watched program every damn week, regardless of what you want to say. And people, if you want to watch them win or you want to watch them lose, people are tuning in and watch Alabama. So if the committee could find a way to get Bama in, it wasn't that hard. The resume was better than the other 3 teams. Now, I do like the question, what happens if I think UNLV and Odom they almost got them in the regular season, and Boise's one-dimensional. This team can be beat. That's a very maybe one of the most interesting championship games of the weekend, because we have no idea. They've harped on this fact that championship games aren't going to hurt you, but Boise's been the team that's had to be perfect to get there. And Tyler Siskey, who was in the chat with Justin early on his show, I think today, he said he believes UNLV gets in if they beat Boise. So I don't know. Again, I think Bama's in at this juncture. And good God, if they get in with this setup, going to Notre Dame and going to SMU, you're thinking the football gods. Like, Merry freaking Christmas. We don't have to go to the SEC championship and we get Notre Dame and SMU on our way to the final. Sign me the frick up. If you would have told Bama that before the season, hey, man, this is going to be your run to the playoff, but you got to take a loss to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma to get there. I'm sure most people would be like, all right, cool.
Ty, you got your hand up.
And then here's the thing, guys. There is a possibility that Bama makes it, but Bama goes to 12. And if that happens, if everything still goes, I believe they would still end up with a very favorable outcome. You'd play Penn State, then assuming Boise State wins, you'd play Boise State after. So 11 and 12 is where you want to be, right? If you're Bama, and I know a lot of people were saying, oh, but you want to get that bye. It's all relative. Whether you don't play in the SEC championship or a conference championship, that means that Bama has the bye between now and when the playoffs start, as opposed to playing the conference championship and then getting that bye. To me, that was never the big incentive. Obviously, you want an SEC championship. To me, the big incentive was a home field game. Now, I'm going to give you a situation, Pettey. I'm interested in hearing what you think. If UNLV beats Boise State, but SMU beats Clemson, now all of a sudden I think you have some breathing room. Plus, this Big 10 and Big 12 could get wonky, right? Like, we could have some wild stuff happen in these conferences. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no idea what the committee's going to do because it's the first year with 12. I have nothing to base this off of.
I think this is the one weekend where if you're Ole Miss or Miami in Alabama, you wanted to go to chalk and pray to God that UNLV does win and just see what the hell happens, because that's your one chance to slip in at this point and not avoid going to the Citrus Bowl. Arizona or Iowa State going to get that 12 spot. Whoever wins that game is going to be a bye. They're getting one of the 4 seeds. One of those two are going to slide in, and neither one of them are in the top 12 right now. That's accounted for. That's why you've got to be at that 11 spot pretty much, unless, like Ty said, the UNLV Boise thing's fascinating. That game,
yeah, that's
again. The more I think about it, the more intriguing Friday night's going to be.